They don't put in extra work. They don't go above and beyond to hone their skills, improve their game. This is a club. This is a get-together. This is a player meet and greet. This is a hangout, and the WNBA is just where they choose to hang out. And the NBA and the owners within the league, they're funding this hangout.
The WNBA is staring down a ratings disaster, with Commissioner Kathy Engelbert watching her league's fragile surge of popularity collapse like glass under pressure. The harsh reality is unavoidable. The league's biggest draw, Caitlin Clark, is sidelined, and without her the spotlight has vanished. Attendance is dipping, TV numbers are falling, and the WNBA is sliding back toward its pre-2024 obscurity at lightning speed, proof that without its star attraction, the momentum was always paper-thin.
Can you feel the panic reverberating throughout the WNBA dump? WNBA players think they have leverage. Key word, think. Now, in their defense, they do have leverage in the short term.
The numbers tell the story, and it's brutal. Since Caitlin Clark went down with a quad injury on May 24th, WNBA ratings have collapsed. National TV viewership has cratered 55%, with Indiana Fever games taking the hardest hit. When Clark played, they averaged 1.81 million viewers. Without her, that figure has plunged to just 847,000, a staggering 53% drop. The message is crystal clear: the WNBA's momentum lives and dies with one player, and her absence is devastating.
Now, I don't know what to believe from financials, but they got a lot of money backing them from TNT Sports and a lot of investors. And word has it that they came within $10 million of breaking even their first season. That's damn sight a lot. That's damn sight a lot better than the WNBA's done ever.
The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game was a reality check. With Caitlin Clark sidelined, ratings plunged 36% from 2024's record 3.44 million viewers to just 2.19 million. And here's the twist: that disappointing number still ranks as the second highest All-Star audience in league history. Translation? Before Clark's arrival, the WNBA's TV numbers were embarrassingly low. Her absence didn't just dent viewership, it exposed how much the league's newfound relevance depends entirely on one superstar.
Unrivaled will forever change the WNBA.
For sure.
And the way that they do business, the way that they treat their players, any agreement going forward. Unrivaled did things that were unprecedented. And I think it showed players their value, and players in that upcoming CBA are going to ask for everything. And I think that they're going to have to make something work if they want to see the product on TV. Right?
If you're enjoying, please leave a like and subscribe our channel. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert is surely losing sleep as the WNBA's meteoric rise quickly turns into a freefall. The leader who once inherited a skeleton staff of 12 and steered the league through a pandemic crisis now faces an even more daunting reality: a league utterly reliant on one superstar. With Caitlin Clark sidelined, the fragile foundation of the WNBA's success has been laid bare for everyone to see.
Essentially stalled for a new collective bargaining agreement in the WNBA. For the first time ever, WNBA players think they have leverage. Key word, think. Now, in their defense, they do have leverage in the short term. The problem is, if this short-term leverage is used and the 2026 WNBA season is canceled, it could have devastating long-term impacts on pretend basketball.
Engelbert is facing growing criticism from every direction. Stars like Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum have openly called out the league's officiating inconsistencies, while attendance and viewership keep cratering without the WNBA's biggest attraction on the floor. She's been forced to go public, admitting that officiating consistency is a priority and an area that needs improvement. But let's be real, better whistles won't fix the core issue. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA struggles to matter, and fans are tuning out in droves.
I'm wondering, will the WNBA get within 10 million this season? I kind of doubt it, considering Caitlin Clark's missed, 13, 14 games or something like that? We saw ticket prices plummeted. We know the ratings have gone down in games that she's not involved with, which has drove the ratings down across the league. So I don't know.
Perhaps the most baffling piece of this saga unfolded during collective bargaining talks. Reports indicate WNBA players rejected a proposal that would have skyrocketed their minimum salaries from $66,000 to $250,000 and raised maximum salaries from $250,000 to $1 million. Phoenix Mercury forward Sata Sabali labeled the offer a slap in the face. Think about that. Players in a league bleeding $50 million annually, one that has never turned a profit in nearly 3 decades, turned down a chance to quadruple their paychecks. They dismissed an offer that could have made many of them millionaires, while competing in a league kept alive only through NBA subsidies, reportedly around $15 million a year. It's a decision that highlights just how wildly detached the players' demands are from the league's financial reality.
In the All-Star game, wearing "Pay us what you owe us" t-shirts, WNBA players whose salaries are subsidized by the NBA wear t-shirts declaring "Pay us what you owe us." They must have thought this was a great idea. Oh, folks, we're really going to stick it to the owners. We are really going to stick it to the league. We're going to walk out in solidarity with a t-shirt that says "Pay us what you owe us," and then they'll have no choice but to pay us what they owe us. Now, my question is, what exactly?
The delusion is mind-blowing, and one baffled fan summed it up perfectly. So they turned down million-dollar salaries in a league bleeding cash? These players genuinely believe they deserve NBA-level pay while competing in a league that drew just 160,000 viewers for a Mercury game without Caitlin Clark. The math doesn't lie, and the truth is brutal. You can't demand superstar wages when the product itself struggles to attract even a fraction of the audience.
Is that Paige Becker's 10-week commitment to Unrivaled? 10-week commitment, 10 weeks to Unrivaled. She will make more in that first year than she will in the WNBA, where she's only projected to make $78,000. And I know there's still some haters, some unbelievers mad that women decided to bet on themselves, make this startup that is already putting the foot on the gas, right? Already making the WNBA look bad. I understand that. And they're wondering how they're paying for it. Well, Unrivaled made $1 million in ticket sales this year. Unrivaled made over $1 million in merchandise sales this year. And that's not even counting like the jersey.
The harsh truth the WNBA refuses to face is simple. Caitlin Clark isn't just the league's brightest star, she is the league. The evidence is overwhelming. In 2024, Clark was directly tied to 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity, driving merchandise, ticket sales, and television viewership to unprecedented highs. As ESPN's Stephen A. Smith bluntly stated, Clark is both the cash cow and the box office, and when she's absent, ratings collapse. The numbers paint a staggering picture. Broadcasts featuring her accounted for nearly 45% of the WNBA's total television value. Her debut alone against the Chicago Sky drew 2.7 million viewers, while a rematch without her saw ticket prices crash to just $3. The verdict couldn't be clearer. The WNBA's momentum, relevance, and financial viability are anchored to one player. Without Clark, the league instantly reverts back to irrelevance, a niche product with dwindling interest. The market has spoken, and it isn't buying the WNBA without Caitlin Clark.
Alex Brazell, the co-founder of the 3-on-3 Women's Basketball League composed of exclusively WNBA players, told Front Office Sports that the league has signed nearly 90% of its player pool for the 2026 season. Quote, "We have a few spots left open to fill, and then we're pretty much ready to go."
Here's where the WNBA's problems go from troubling to downright infuriating. Instead of protecting its golden goose, the league has allowed a culture of targeting to grow around Caitlin Clark. Even Sophie Cunningham, Clark's own teammate, admitted she's had to step into the role of enforcer because referees have repeatedly failed to protect the league's biggest star. As Cunningham put it, this didn't happen overnight, it's been building for years as officials turned a blind eye. The most glaring examples speak for themselves. Clark was poked in the eye by J.C. Sheldon and later knocked flat by Marina Mabrey. Despite the reckless contact, referees refused to eject Mabrey from the game. Only after a wave of public outrage did the league retroactively upgrade her foul to a flagrant 2. This is not an isolated incident but part of a dangerous pattern where excessive physicality against Clark is tolerated until backlash forces the WNBA's hand. Even legendary tennis champion Chris Evert weighed in, blasting the league's treatment of Clark and asking when players would finally accept and respect that she's the best thing to happen to women's basketball. The WNBA's failure here isn't just bad officiating, it's a terrible look for the sport and a direct threat to its future.
I've been telling y'all this. The league doesn't like Unrivaled. I'm tired of going back and forth with people that's no business would want you to work for them and then basically replicate their business and try to make it better and all that type of stuff. No business does that. So it baffles my mind how a lot of y'all sit back and think, oh, the WNBA loves Unrivaled. No, they don't.
The reality that many WNBA players refuse to acknowledge is that the league operates in financial quicksand. In 28 years, the WNBA has never turned a profit, averaging losses of over $10 million annually, according to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. That alone exposes the fragility of the so-called boom Clark has generated. The NBA currently props up the league with about $15 million in annual subsidies while holding a 60% ownership stake. Factor in individual NBA owners who also have shares in WNBA franchises, and that control jumps to roughly 75%. The dependence is so severe that one NBA executive bluntly told the New York Post, "The WNBA owes the NBA so much we won't see any windfall for years." Against this backdrop, the players' salary demands look absurd. They're essentially employees of a company that bleeds money year after year, yet expect to be compensated like employees of the NBA, the most profitable sports league in the world. The math doesn't add up. In fact, it's laughable if it weren't so destructive to the league's long-term stability.
It continues to show that this league is where people want to be because they treat them right. They're providing the resources for them. They're promoting them the way they should be promoted. And that's what women's basketball players deserve. That's what women deserve. A lot of you may be wondering, well, why can Unrivaled do it and why can't the WNBA do it? The WNBA can do it, but you need to understand can and will and choose to are all different.
What we're seeing now is the WNBA sliding back into its natural state, a little-watched league surviving on NBA charity. Without Caitlin Clark, viewership has dropped sharply, attendance is down, and social media buzz has evaporated. But as one analyst bluntly noted, it's a nice story, but it's not the same, neither of them are Caitlin Clark. The league's frantic attempts to find a replacement only prove the obvious. Clark isn't just a star, she's irreplaceable, and without her, the WNBA struggles to matter.
Unrivaled is making moves. Unrivaled is making moves, and they making them in a major way, y'all. They are making moves in a major way. Unrivaled announced the signings of look, they're going and getting the young, popping, upcoming talent. WNBA, y'all better figure something out. Y'all better figure something out. Unrivaled is making moves. We already see the players talking about they are willing to strike. They want what they want. Pay us what you owe. Pay us what you owe.
Engelbert now finds herself trapped in an impossible situation. She's watching the WNBA's short-lived surge of popularity collapse in real time, all while dealing with players who appear utterly detached from financial reality. The same commissioner who once confidently predicted expansion to 16 teams by 2028 must now face a darker possibility. Without Caitlin Clark, those expansion dreams may evaporate entirely. The league's upcoming $2.2 billion media rights deal, spread over 11 years, was negotiated almost entirely on the back of Clark's unprecedented impact. But if her injuries linger, or worse, if she decides to walk away from a league that has failed to protect her, the true value of that deal could face serious doubts. Engelbert surely knows every game Clark misses is another blow to the league's mainstream relevance. The irony is striking. The WNBA failed to shield its most valuable asset from excessive targeting, and now the league's survival hinges on Clark's health and willingness to endure. With ratings tanking, attendance falling, and players demanding salaries the league cannot sustain, Engelbert's worst-case scenario is unfolding before her eyes. The fragile foundation of the WNBA is cracking, and its future grows shakier by the day.
Now, the WNBA has allowed players to play in off-season leagues for however long because they know that they are not paying them high enough salaries. Now, the goal of all the WNBA players, including Nafisa and Stewie, which is why they started Unrivaled, is to be able to pay the players more, give them livable wages, make it so they didn't have to go overseas, and I commend them for that. I think it's fantastic what they did with Unrivaled.
The WNBA's current collapse is a harsh reminder that star power fuels professional sports, and efforts to downplay an individual's impact almost always backfire. The league worked tirelessly to present its rise as collective growth rather than Clark-driven momentum, and that narrative has now imploded. Meanwhile, players rejecting a fourfold salary increase while demanding even higher pay have exposed a staggering disconnect from economic reality. They want NBA-level salaries while producing WNBA-level ratings. And without Clark on the floor, those ratings are plunging back to pre-2024 levels of irrelevance. The truth is unavoidable: the WNBA's survival hinges on one superstar, no matter how badly the league tries to pretend otherwise.
WNBA is still under this major umbrella of the NBA, and a lot of that affects the way they do things. As long as the WNBA is in this 360 deal with the NBA, you're not going to see them promoting their players, paying their players, all the things that Unrivaled is able to do because they don't have that middle.
Commissioner Engelbert's legacy will ultimately be defined by how she navigates this crisis. If she can persuade Caitlin Clark to return while ensuring the league's brightest star feels both protected and valued, there's still a chance to preserve the momentum built over the past year. But if she continues allowing player delusion to dominate negotiations while failing to safeguard her most important asset, she risks overseeing the WNBA slide back into obscurity, a scenario that once seemed unthinkable but now feels increasingly inevitable with every game Clark misses. The reality couldn't be clearer. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA is nothing more than another struggling women's basketball league struggling to draw attention. The ratings prove it. The attendance proves it. The merchandise numbers prove it. Clark isn't just the league's top star, she is its present and its future. The sooner Engelbert and the league's leadership accept this reality and build policies around it, the better chance they have of keeping the WNBA relevant in an increasingly crowded and unforgiving sports entertainment marketplace. Ignoring this truth will only accelerate the league's collapse back into irrelevance. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.